Shana is the Legend of Dragoon's basic bitch, which explains why she loves pumpkin spice lattes, doesn't season her chicken, and always asks for mild when selecting her spice level at an Indian restaurant. Appropriately, she is the Vanilla Dragoon, the Cheesecake Factory Salad Dragoon, the White Silver Dragoon. Some believe her to be a godsend given her supreme magical ability and healing acumen, and all the rest actually use their brains to draw logical conclusions from available data. But in all seriousness, she does have some unique qualities that cause her enemies to quiver with anticipation. So today, we're going to examine her potential in battle. We ask, how bad is Shana actually? Shana's human form is quite different from that of the rest of the cast. It's an inarguable fact that she has the worst physical attacks in the game by at least an order of magnitude. And even if she didn't have the worst attack stat in the game, which she does, her attacks would still be the weakest in the game by far, which they already are. And the reason for this is additions, or rather Shana's lack of them. For some reason, the devs decided that Shana, as the only long-range character, doesn't get additions at all. So while everyone else is getting multipliers of 400 to 600% and saying things like, Shana uses just 100% of her attack power and says, ha indeed. For the record, she's laughing at you because you decided to use a physical attack with her. You made a bad choice and you should feel bad. On the plus side though, she does have the shortest additions in the game, which is not a plus side because that was a joke. She compensates for her bottom of the barrel physical attacks with her stellar magical abilities. She has the highest magic stat in the game and very high speed, second only to Meru. She can therefore do huge damage with magic, and she can do it fast. In the early game, she's actually reasonably overtuned and does far more damage with magic than anyone else does with their physical attacks. So if you want someone to be a pure magic user in human form, Shana is a great choice. The big drawback, however, and what makes Shana less useful, is that using magic in human form requires the use of consumable items, and Legend of Dragoon has an item cap of 32. Healing items, repeat items, status healing items, and consumable magic items all contribute to that cap. So unless you want to only have magic items in your inventory, it's going to be difficult to have enough items to keep Shana stocked, meaning you'll eventually be forced to Really? Interestingly though, her unique traits make her a fantastic choice to enhance a speedrun. There's no time for tedious addition grinding in a speedrun, therefore the most powerful Dragoon spells will be inaccessible, and Shana will do the highest damage of the entire party with her magic. Furthermore, if all of the other party members are allowed to die in boss battles, Shana receives all of the experience, launching her levels and her magic stat to stratospheric heights. Thus, she'll massively boost her magic damage and, more importantly, her survivability. While this didn't really affect Shana's rank in my new and improved character tier list, a video that you should definitely watch after you finish this one, I think it's an interesting quirk that gives her a fun niche. Defensively, the split between physical and magic is about the same as her offense. Her physical bulk is abysmal. She's paper. Well, feathers. But because she has the highest health of all of the girls, she's actually the best of them at taking blows. The boys, though, all have her beat in this department. Ooh, phrasing. Her magic defense, though, is sky high. The only person who comes close to her magical bulk is Meru, but Meru's terrible health means that Shana has her completely beat in terms of magic defense. And the final thing that sets Shana apart is her speed. She has the second highest speed in the game. That, combined with her magic attack, means that she can dish out immense damage with magical items, particularly when equipped with speed boosting equipment. So in human form, Shana's physical offense and defense are pitiable due to her low stats and her lack of additions to supplement her damage output. But her magical prowess is unmatched, allowing her to kill things fast as long as you have the requisite magical items and take a ton of magical hits. And these qualities are extremely useful in a speedrun of the game, but might be less useful in a more casual playthrough. Shana's human form and Dragoon form largely share the same strengths and detriments. However, the stat boosts she receives and her interesting library of spells patch up some of her weaknesses, allowing her to perform well despite her deficiencies. Offensively, her Dragoon form, like her human form, is physically terrible. She receives a mind-blowing 200% base strength boost in Dragoon form, which literally does not matter because she still has no additions to boost her damage output. This means her physical attacks in Dragoon form hit like a wet noodle, and And you might be thinking, well, just use magic, and I will talk about why that's not so simple right after I discuss the spells themselves. Shana's first spell is Moonlight. It provides a full heal to any one party member, and if that party member is dead, it revives them and restores 50% of their HP. It does not heal any status effects though. This spell can be very useful at the beginning of the game, but it has a couple of issues, which I will discuss in a little bit. Shana's level 2 spell is Star Children. It is a 25% power spell that attacks all enemies, and I take issue with this spell. Most of the hardest battles in the game are boss battles, which require a ton of single target damage. Some of the bosses do have minions, but once they're gone, it's just the boss. So to give a character who literally only has the potential for magic offense this spell instead of a single target offensive spell doesn't make much sense to me, and I'll circle back to this as well in just a little bit. Her third spell is Gates of Heaven, and that is a convenient segue to invite you to pass through the gates of the Tantacles Discord. My Discord is the best place to get updates about my content and to yell at me because I said something wrong in a video. That's real-time feedback. And if you're feeling particularly enthusiastic about my channel, you can click the join button. Becoming a channel member gets you early access to my videos and allows you to vote in polls to help determine what video I'll produce next. On top of that, you'll be supporting the channel, helping me to make more and better RPG content. And even if you can't afford to support me financially, likes and shares are extremely helpful. So please hit that like button and say ha, just like Shana would. Thank you for supporting my channel. I appreciate every single one of you. Back to Gates of Heaven. This is a 50% heal for the entire party. My good friends in the Legend of Dragoon Discord helped me test that one out, and I will leave a link to that Discord in the doodly-doo. The description doesn't say it, but this spell also revives any downed party members. But this spell doesn't cure any status effects, which I find disappointing. Her final spell is the White Silver Dragon Summon. This spell does 100% magic damage and heals all allies to full health. Yes, full health this time. It does not revive anyone, and it does not heal status. It is an amazing spell and is one of the 2 highest damaging spells in the game. If you're going to use Shana, this is a spell to use whenever you possibly can. But now, let's talk about why Shana's Dragoon magic, as well as her overall Dragoon offense, is disappointing. It really all comes down to opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the potential that you lose by choosing one thing instead of another. And since in the Legend of Dragoon you can use 3 characters out of 7, you have to choose the characters that give you the best possible potential compared to the other characters. So overall, what do you gain with Shana? You gain the ability to use strong magic attacks in human and Dragoon form, and you gain the ability to heal, and heal more, and then do big PP damage and heal at the expense of almost all of your magic points. And if you use her level 2 spell to do damage, it really doesn't do a ton of damage compared to what other characters can do. But the question is, how much healing do you actually need? Well, actually a lot less than Shana provides, and her level 3 spell is actually the same as a Healing Breeze item, and that heals everyone for half HP. No revival, but hey, take along a couple Angel's Prayers, and remember, Shana can't stay in Dragoon form forever. Eventually, she has to attack, and that's a damage loss no matter what way you slice it. And someone has to restore her MP, which is a damage loss. And if you want to use magic items to help her do magic attacks in human form, you eventually run out. And then she has to attack, which is bad, and also a damage loss. So then the question is, what do you lose by using Shana? Well, the answer is that you lose the opportunity to use Meru. When her additions are complete, she does a ton of physical damage, and she can also do a ton of damage to bosses with her magic. Not quite as much as Shana, but a lot. She also can heal the entire party for half HP and heal any status effects at the same time. That's something that Shana can't do, and Meru can do that for 10 fewer MP than Shana's level 3 spell, which is just healing. And if you don't feel like using Meru's Dragon Summon, which is her highest damaging spell, she has 2 very powerful magic spells that both do excellent damage and don't require you to restore her MP several times. Basically, Meru does everything Shana can do magically, just a teensy bit worse, but has a ton more physical offense, more efficient but slightly less magical offense, and less redundant healing. And that makes Shana, to me, seem pretty mediocre by comparison. And also, Meru has a little bit more speed, which means she gets more attacks. And okay, you might be thinking, well, Shana can revive. That's something that Meru can't do. But physically, Shana and Meru are both quite frail. I mean, Meru is more frail, but still, my point stands. And that means that they're both the most likely to be knocked out when they take physical damage. Granted, Shana is much more magically bulky due to her higher HP and her higher magic defense, but Meru can take magical hits pretty well. So when you're choosing between Meru and Shana, why not get you one that can do both? Yes, Shana is an extreme magic specialist, but Meru is a jack of all trades whose abilities are all at an extremely high level. And furthermore, the item cap also acts as a sore spot for opportunity cost. To use Shana's best magic more than once, you have to restore her magic points. Otherwise, she's stuck with just her physical attacks, which are garbage. So one viable strategy is to have her transform and just continually use her dragon summon while all of the other characters heal her magic points. But that leaves no buffer in case someone gets one-shotted or afflicted with a status, which Shana can't cure. Ultimately, the spread of Shana's abilities and stats are far too skewed towards healing and magic for her to be a truly great character. So in Dragoon form, Shana is a great healer, but lacks versatility in terms of the offense she can provide. And she unfortunately sucks at providing physical offense in Dragoon form. So overall, how bad is Shana actually? Well, she's usable, but the whole is not greater than the sum of her 0/0 parts. Physically, she has terrible stats and no additions, which make her do a ton less damage than everyone else in the party. This is only somewhat made up for by her incredible magic prowess and the fact that she has a ton of healing potential. But the biggest thing she has going for her is that if you level her Dragoon form, you will have finally proven to your nagging spouse that you are in fact capable of doing chores. Does that mean that you're going to start taking out the garbage though? Probably not. You're lazy, and you always have been. She's the cream of the crop in speedrunning, but in more casual play, her use ultimately leads to a damage loss when compared to other characters, particularly Meru. And if this video was helpful to you, I know exactly which video you need to watch next. This character review right here. See you in the Discord. Have fun. Bye-bye.